everyone and welcome to F1 2016 Career Mode. For Season 2 we're here at part number 27, the Monaco Grand Prix, here on the streets of the Principality. As you can see, here are the driver standings so far. Remember, if you have missed an episode so far, do go and check it out and catch up so far, because I tell you what, we've had some phenomenal races at the start of this Season 2. A few cars have bought upgrades. Manor, most notably, have bought upgrades, quite some substantial ones, and look at that. Manor are now, what was that, the 6th fastest team? 5th fastest team, something like that. So they are looking very good at the moment. 6th fastest team, and maybe Manor can make a push. They're definitely in the midfield, so hopefully they can get some points on the board here this weekend and maybe push forward. Williams have bought some upgrades as well. Hopefully that'll bring them closer to the front of the field. Here's a few highlights from free practice, because of course Monaco is known for its close walls and lots of crashes. So here's us getting it wrong into Saint-Devote in FP1. And here in FP3 we're just doing a little run, an installation run, as we come down into the Nouvelle chicane. We've clicked the inside wall, wheels gone, and free practice was over before it had even begun. Thankfully we did all the work in FP1 and FP2, so it's not the end of the world. Here are our qualifying goals.
Hi, how are you? I'm just passing on your qualifying goals for this weekend.
So, second or higher, beat Raikkonen, beat Ricciardo, bog standard stuff. To be perfectly honest, but of course we have struggled in qualifying this year, and this track I suck at, to be honest. I know we got pole and we won here last year, but it really doesn't suit my driving style, although when we hook it up we can be pretty decent. So I'm going to send you now to Crofty for qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix.
Here we are at one of the most difficult circuits on the racing calendar. Welcome to Monaco for today's Formula One qualifying. This has been an exciting track in times gone by, and typically it entertains the moment the lights go out.
So here we are in qualifying 2. Miraculously we got through Q1 without crashing out, so that's something, because here we are on the start of our Q2 lap. Having to be a bit careful because Pascal Wehrlein was coming out of the pit lane there. In practice we looked pretty decent. Our qualifying pace test had us to finish around 5th, so obviously we failed it because they want us to finish in the top 2. So as you can see, we got blocked by Lewis Hamilton, then hit the wall on the exit to back as we now come through the first part of the swimming pool. I mean, this final sector of Monaco, I really think I've hooked it up and really nailed it. It's the best part of the track. It's arguably the best part of the whole of Formula One, just the swimming pool. Going through to back and the two swimming pool sections down in towards Raskas are just brilliant to drive. And as you can see, we actually got through the session despite being blocked by Lewis Hamilton. The time we did is a 14.2. We did the 14.1 in Q1, but we can go quicker. Of course, we did get blocked on that lap. Here we are for our second run in qualifying 3. We did one run on our Q1 set of tyres, and we're now going for a second run in Q3. We put the usual amount of fuel in, as low as it will go. And hopefully it can get us a bit higher up the grid. We're 6/10 up on our time at the moment. And what I've also done is, because the tyre wear isn't bad around this track, we're going to go again. So we're currently P2, and we're going to keep going and see where it puts us. We go through Saint-Devote, pretty nice as we now come up the hill through Beau Rivage up towards the top of Massenet. We're about a tenth and a half down at the moment as we come through Massenet into Casino Square. As you can see, we made a mistake through Casino Square on our last lap, and we've gained about a tenth or so already, so we're up. And given that we're getting pretty close to Daniel Ricciardo, who's done a 1 minute 12.5, he's done it at 1 minute 12 anyway. As we come through loads, we do nudge the wall slightly, and we do lose that tenth that we'd gained, but we pick it up again as we come through Poitiers. We're so close to being on that delta time, but we're just going to stick with the lap, because the tenth is nothing to make up around Monaco. It's hardly anything, but we are a couple of tenths down now as we now come down into the harbour chicane, the Nouvelle chicane. Little bit of a cut, we got away with it there, but we got through that chicane very quickly, and look at that, we're already a couple of hundred and stuff as we come through to back, get very close to hitting the wall on the left hand side as we go purple through the middle sector as we commit through the two parts of the swimming pool, just about fling the car over the curb as we now come into Raskas. We're now 3/10 up nearly as we come through Raskas, and look at the time going up, we're up to 4/10, that might hit 5/10 now. Yes, as we open the DRS on the run down, the start finish straight, with 5/10 up, where's that going to put us on the grid? We've taken pole out of nowhere for the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah! Come on!
Out of nowhere, we have taken pole on Ultimate AI, a 1 minute 12.5, 2.2 tenths quicker than Daniel Ricciardo. The first time we out-qualify him this season, and what a place to do it, at the one track where track position means everything. Ricciardo second, Vettel third, Hamilton fourth, Rosberg's fifth, but will start on the super softs. Raikkonen is sixth, Massa seventh, Perez eighth, Bottas is ninth, and then JB is in 10th place. But not going to lie, guys, we didn't even get into the 1 minute 13s until Q3. We were at 14.1 is what we were doing. That would have put us 9th place on the grid. I knew we could find some time. I didn't think we'd find 1.5 seconds in qualifying 3, to be honest. But we did, and we're through. And we've taken pole position out of nowhere. And I'm not going to lie, when that time went up, I was punching the air in my room. That was, honestly, that's the best lap I have ever driven on this game, or any F1 game. That was just the perfect qualifying lap. And I'm absolutely thrilled to bits with it. And in the rivalry, this is going to... Honestly, that good qualifying is going to do us so much good in the rivalry, the driver position, resource points. It's just perfect. As you can see, we've gained a lot of ground on Kimi Raikkonen. He was quicker in the first sector because if you look through the lap, we were actually a 10th or so down in the first sector. So... we're probably still going to lose the rivalry, though. That's the disappointing fact. But this is the great bit. Look at this. We have gotten into the green in the driver position for the first time since... Oh, my God. I don't even want to think. I do not want to think. But here are our race goals, anyway.
Hello. I just wanted to pass on the team's expectations for this race. Good luck.
So, second or higher. It's literally the same as our qualifying goals and finish third in the Drivers' Championship. We should, hopefully we can do that. We are currently second in the championship, 7 points away from Daniel Ricciardo. So we've just got to hold it together. We managed to do it a year ago in what was a manic race. Can we do it again this time? So I'm now going to send you up to Crofty and Stephen Hayes for the Monaco Grand Prix grid.
Take a deep breath and enjoy the moment. It's a very special time of the season once again, as we prepare for racing here this afternoon. There's no better tested driver, no more prestigious race to win, no bigger an occasion than the Monaco Grand Prix. The astonishing Circuit de Monaco is, for all intents and purposes, virtually unchanged since its inaugural race back in 1929. The faster cars of today, though, ensure the 19 corners past the casino and along the seafront remain as thrilling as ever. A 2.1 mile lap here takes us around an entire country, yet never more than inches from the race-ending barriers.
Okay, it's a short run to Saint-Devant, and you know what Monaco's like, so try to defend this lead.
Crash bang wallop, it's the Monaco Grand Prix. Tensions are mounting as Callum Byrne takes pole position, the first time he's out-qualified Ricciardo this season, and he must be sweating. There is a small points gap that he's looking to close today. One hopes he can do it and repeat what he did last season. And to the grid, Byrne indeed is on pole position with Ricciardo second. In third it's Sebastian Vettel, and the Mercedes can only make fourth and fifth, Hamilton leading Rosberg. Raikkonen lines up sixth. In seventh is Massa with Perez in 8th place. Bottas in the second Williams is 9th, and Jenson Button is the leading McLaren in 10th. Alonso though is right behind him with Sainz in 12th place. Hulkenberg is 13th, and a fantastic qualifying for Wehrlein in 14th. Kvyat lines up 15th, and the leading Haas of Grosjean is in 16th place. Haryanto in the second Manor is 17th, out-qualifying the second Haas of Gutierrez in 18th. Magnussen and Palmer in the Renaults line up 19th and 20th, with 21st and 22nd the Saubers. Of course, last season Marcus Ericsson took the final step of the podium. And over to Callum Byrne for the in-race commentary.
So here we are on the grid for the Monaco Grand Prix. It looks like it's going to be a one-stop, same as last year, Ultras then Supers. Nothing much to change there. We've taken a bit of fuel out of the car. I think we're running with a lot less fuel. So instead of putting fuel in the car, we're taking it out. Of course, we did those fuel efficiency upgrades. And of course, you don't really run rich around here. And something really weird happened on the formation lap. Grosjean just appeared in front of me halfway around it. And there was a lot of cars that got removed from the formation lap down by Poitiers on the entrance to the tunnel. So I have no idea what happened on the formation lap, but it is what it is. Didn't affect anything else anyway, so it's just one of those abnormal things. But here we are 5 red lights here in Monaco, and away we go here, and we've had a pretty good start, and it's going to be enough to keep us ahead, I think, as we come down into Saint-Devote, and we lead as we come through turn 1, and almost like deja vu to a year ago, but this time as we come up through Beaurivage up towards Massenet, we've got Daniel Ricciardo all over the back of us, and I have a feeling he's going to hound us for the rest of this Grand Prix as we come down towards Mirabeau now, the 5th turn on this Monaco Grand Prix track, and we're just going to have to, you know, we don't have to try and run off into the distance like Montreal or a Silverstone or even like Bahrain or something like that, because track position is everything. It's so hard to overtake around this track as we go a little bit wide through Poitiers. Actually, almost put it in the barrier on the left hand side. You know, the only places you can really overtake is Saint-Devote and down here into the Nouvelle Chicane. And I tell you what, you just leave the car in the middle of the circuit and the AI are not going to try and brave it up the inside or around the outside, because the track's just too narrow. We've just got to make sure we don't bin it. And I think if we don't bin it and we keep track position, and if we can just make sure we don't get jumped in the pit stop phase, we'll be alright today, because we can usually hold our position pretty well, and I'm confident we can do it around this track, providing we keep a clean head, keep our nose clean, and just stay calm in the cockpit. As we're getting whacked by a few pitfalls anyway. But as you can see now at the start of lap 5, us, Ricciardo, and I think it's Vettel, isn't it? We've all pulled away from that. It's the 2 Mercedes, and I have a feeling Rosberg's in front of Hamilton, and he's being held up because Rosberg's on the slower tyre. We're still on the same lap. In fact, Ricciardo has got a lot closer through the exit of Poitiers, and you can see in the mirrors he's weaving around, desperate like mad to try and find an avenue to have a look into the Nouvelle Chicane. We leave a bit of space on the right hand side and just hold the inside line, hold our line, and we hold on to the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix. Is now on the start of lap 8 as we come through Saint-Devote now. We've got Ricciardo and Vettel still hounding us, and we're pulling away from the 2 Mercedes and Raikkonen and the Williams and all them. They're all struggling a little bit, but we've gone wide through Massenet, and we're having to defend the inside line through Casino Square, and we've squeezed Ricciardo. More of understeer rather than anything, and we have to be very careful not to literally put our teammate into the wall on the right hand side. I doubt he liked that very much at all, but we just genuinely could not turn the car in anymore. And we somehow avoided contact. As now on lap 11 we're coming up to the same sequence of track into Massenet. We've made that mistake yet again. We've run a little bit wide, and Ricciardo's sticking his nose up the inside. There's a little bit of contact through the exit. We've hit the wall on the exit, and all of a sudden Vettel is now behind us. I've no idea how he's done that. I am going to put this quick apology out there that in something that will be explained later, there aren't any replay cameras of the start, but I'll explain that a little bit later on. As now on lap 13 we're coming through Rascasse and through Anthony Noakes now, and into the pits comes Daniel Ricciardo, so he's going for the undercut now. Not necessarily always the best thing to do around this track in case you get stuck in traffic, as now on lap 14, the lap later, we're deciding whether to come into the pit lane or not. As you can see, Ricciardo, you can see under the tunnel by the number 2, is in heavy traffic. So he's being held up, and I want to try and jump those cars as best as we can. As we make a mistake into Rascasse, that's allowed Vettel the inside line, and he's going into the pit lane, and we're not. We're going to brave that for another lap. And is that going to come back to bite us? Because Vettel, of course, is someone else we're directly racing. As we're now pitting on the end of lap 15. We've got to cover them off now, because Vettel, in fact, had cleared the traffic. Vettel didn't get stuck in the traffic, and this could cost us now, because we would have covered him. We would have been ahead of him if we'd have pitted at the same time. Onto the Supersofts. On-go the Supersoft compound tyre, not the quickest pit stop from Red Bull at 2.7 seconds, and we probably needed it to be one of their best. As you can see, Vettel is now coming down the pit straight. He's the dot that's coming right next to us. You'll see him fly past. There he goes. We've been jumped by Sebastian Vettel. We're way ahead of Ricciardo as we hit the pit wall. We hit the wall on the exit of the pit lane. Not too much damage, thankfully. We could have easily lost the wheel. But that's an absolute disaster for us. Now we're behind Vettel. Now, I will come on to this. When I came out of the pit lane, as we make a mistake into Rascasse here, as Vettel's being held up by the 2 manners, the MFD stopped working. So you see on the hood, there's the circle button there. That's what I press on the controller to get the multifunction display. It stopped working. For whatever reason, it would not open. I tried a flashback. I tried a lot of things to try and sort it out, as we're now going up the inside of Sebastian Vettel, who's been caught up behind Harry Anzo. We're going to squeeze him through Anthony Noakes. Open the DRS, of course, he's got DRS from being behind the manor, but we're in the slipstream here. We haven't got the greatest straight line speed around here, because you don't need it. We're trying to dive up the inside into Saint-Devote. Vettel leaves us the space, but just has the better traction as we go back up Beaurivage towards Massenet. So yeah, I resulted in doing a mid-session save That's what I resorted to, and that in fact works. That cleared the MFD problem. As you can see, it's now working again. So the mid-session save did do that. But that caused a few more problems, which again I'll come on to later, as now we're starting to catch. We're still in the slipstream of Vettel. We're staying with him at the moment. We're setting a few quick lap times at the moment, and we are both catching Nico Hulkenberg as we make a mistake through Anthony Noakes again. We're just pushing so hard. Got it in rich mix, burning a lot of all this fuel that we don't really have, as Vettel goes fastest, a tenth quicker than what we did, but he's now stuck right behind Nico Hulkenberg, and we have to try and use this traffic to our advantage, because Hulkenberg and Alonso are the two leaders at the moment, and they haven't stopped yet. They started on a super soft compound tyre, and they're the only thing that is stopping Vettel running off into the distance, because if Vettel doesn't get held up by them, that's it. And as we're going for a lunge, are we into Mirabeau? We do a little bit. It was a bit of a stupid manoeuvre. We hit him a couple of times. Here's diffuser. I'm sure he's not best pleased with that after some of the bits of argy-bargy we had in Spain, as we're now on lap 20 coming down towards the Nouvelle chicane. Vettel being held up, an absolute treat. And he's hit the wall. Vettel hits the wall there on the exit of the chicane, as we were just trying to find a way around, and that's probably given Vettel a little bit of front wing damage, as Raikkonen is now setting quick lap times behind us, and we're right behind Vettel. We need to clear him, and we're going to try a lunge into Mirabeau, and he leaves us the space, and we've got through past Sebastian Vettel. We thought better of it than diving up the inside of Hulkenberg into lows, but we've cleared Vettel, and now we just need to get past Hulkenberg, and we have the net lead of the Monaco Grand Prix back as we come through the tunnel. Now, are we going to try and dispatch Hulkenberg into the Nouvelle chicane? As you can see, we're running 10-11 wings, I think, so we're just struggling with the straights. As you can see, Hulkenberg does the same thing as Vettel. I don't think the AI like going side by side through there, but we've cleared Hulkenberg anyway, and we're up into second place. And it was a few laps after this now that a problem started to develop. After I did the mid-session save, the car didn't feel quite as nice as it did beforehand, and I lost my rhythm a little bit. But then, as Alonso now pits and we do take the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix back, a problem's developed where the car, as you can see here, the car wasn't accelerating very well, and when it got up to speed, it wouldn't slow down, so the brakes stopped working. Machine radio.
Basically, I have no turbo.
So yeah, I can't quite work out. I presume there was an MG UK failure or something in the car. I'm not quite sure, but the car wouldn't slow down properly, and it wouldn't accelerate. If you can just look at Vettel in the mirrors, he just gets such better exit. We've got it in rich fuel mixture, and all of a sudden the car is just got so many problems at the moment. And I don't know what it's come through. I didn't know whether it was the mid-session save or what, but the car was just all over the place. The balance was gone. And again, I tried a flashback, as Felipe Nasr has a puncture. I couldn't quite work out what the problem was. So I did another mid-session save. I even changed controllers, and the problem sort of went away, but it sort of didn't. And we're struggling here at the end of the Monaco Grand Prix. Tyre wear isn't the problem. We've just got a substantial problem with the car. Whether that was because of the first mid-session save, I don't know. But as you can see, there's a queue of cars right behind us now, and we are just holding them up. This is very reminiscent of Monaco 2012, when Webber was holding up a queue of cars for the whole race, but had track position, and it's very similar to that as we hit the wall on the entrance to Sandoval. That's just carelessness, and we're losing our focus here. We've got front wing damage to contend with now as we come through Poitiers yet again. We're only about 7 laps or something to the end of this Monaco Grand Prix, including the one we're on, and we're having to defend from Vettel now into the Nouvelle chicane. He tries to go around the outside. There's a bit of contact as he cut the corner a couple of times to try and avoid contact, and that means that Lewis Hamilton's going to move up into second place, and he's the car that's behind us. As here's a replay of what happens here. We show Vettel the outside line, and you can't go, I mean, we don't really give him much space, but Vettel should have really backed out of that manoeuvre a lot earlier than, well, we forced him to back out of it. As you can see, here's the view from Lewis Hamilton. Vettel tries to go around the outside and cuts the corner a little bit, and there is a bit of contact through the exit, and Hamilton makes contact with Vettel as well, but he's easy to capitalise as we make contact with the wall on Poitiers. On the exit of Poitiers, start of the tunnel. As you can see, we're really struggling now. The car is just getting worse and worse with every lap. After we did the second mid-session save, it was a lot better as Hamilton tries it around the outside now. And there's more contact now, and I think Hamilton's been spun out. Yes, he has. And I'm sure we'll get a replay of what's happened there. But that's given us a lifeline in this race. I'm not quite sure what Hamilton was trying to do here. As he tries to go around the outside, he cuts the corner, hits our rear tyre, spins out, and then just stops. He just parks it there, and look in the background, there is an absolute car park of cars just ramming into each other. And in all of that, Rio Haryanto loses his wheel in the same spot he did 12 months ago. As here's the replay on Hamilton's POV, and I've slowed it down here. Hamilton cuts the corner and flipping T-bones us. Hamilton wasn't going to make the corner, so for me, he has to just cut the chicane and sit in behind. But it is what it is. We now start the final lap. We've got a couple of second lead to Hamilton. But just a few corners later, he's all over the back of us. The car is really struggling. And I'm not doing this for dramatic purpose or whatever. The car really just was all over the place. It was just an absolute wreck at the moment. And we were struggling like crazy as we're now in the back end of this race. We've got enough fuel to get us to the end, so we've saved quite nicely. As you can see, the car is all over the place. The handling's off. It's not accelerating. It's not slowing down. It's literally just falling to pieces. If it was an endurance race, we would not make it to the end. But somehow we have got to the end. We come through Anthony Nose, and Hamilton is not close enough. And we're going to take the checkered flag in Monaco for the second year in a row.
Fantastic, you've won the Monaco Grand Prix again, well done, great try.
I need a drink. Thanks guys. A bit of luck, but we've seen that before. I think we did bloody good. We deserve this. Thank you.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. We see a new name at the top of the championship table as we reach the end of the Grand Prix weekend. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Well, I have to give it to Lewis Hamilton.
And there we go. We have won the Monaco Grand Prix. Didn't get driver of the day. That went to the second place man of Lewis Hamilton, just a couple of tenths behind us. Sebastian Vettel finished third, started third. Alonso was fourth. Raikkonen, brilliant from Fernando Alonso, got second last year, fourth this year. He loves Monte Carlo. Raikkonen was fifth, Rosberg sixth, Massa seventh, Pascal Wehrlein in eighth. That incident with Hamilton and all the queue of cars, Wehrlein actually passed about 2 or 3 cars to put himself into the points. He did very well. Ricciardo got caught up in that incident at the end, but was nowhere anyway. I think he was in 10th place anyway, so he actually gained a position from it. But yeah, not a great... He got that early pit stop really didn't work for Daniel Ricciardo, and it's cost him quite badly, especially in the championship, because we now lead that by 16 points from Ricciardo. Raikkonen is third, the first time this season he's been off the podium. Vettel is fourth, Hamilton fifth, and Rosberg sixth. Perez is up to seventh. Alonso is up to ninth now as well. So very good race for Fernando Alonso. For me, he was probably the driver of the day. Constructors' Championship. Ferrari haven't gained too much. It's the 58 points, the gap. Big movers though at the bottom, because Manor Racing are now level on points with Haas. They've jumped above Toro Rosso, Sauber and Renault. Remember, Toro Rosso got a race win and 2 podiums last year, and they're yet to score a point. Although the race they did win was in Montreal, and that's where we go to next. So they could really do again some points on the board. And look at Force India, up in 4th place as well. They're below Williams in the performance index, so they're doing very well to be above them at the moment. Here are the resource points we got from this weekend. I don't think I've put any upgrades on the car for Montreal. We don't need to at the moment, and as I said, we're thinking of moving teams at the British Grand Prix when we get contract offers, so I don't want Red Bull to be too far up the road for when we do that. We've lost the rivalry as well. We missed out by a couple of points, so that just comes down to qualifying, otherwise we would have beaten him. That's previous qualifyings, obviously. But driver position, all of a sudden when it's looking a lot rosier, it doesn't look like we're going to lose our drive, and it was looking pretty precarious that we were going to get fired from Red Bull, and I genuinely thought it would be at the end of this race. So we needed that. We really needed that. and I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to bits. But I have no idea what happened with the car. That mid-session save nearly destroyed our race, and thankfully we got away with it. But guys, thank you very much for watching yet again. Montreal will be up next week. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Comment. I read the comments. I reply to the comments. Subscribe if you're new as well. In fact, comment. Are Toro Rosso gonna win in Montreal again? And will we win this world championship? Do we have? Can we become double world champions? That's the big question. But it's been a positive pretty much a good first third of the year, and hopefully we can carry on into the next bit. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe around, and I will see you next week for the Canadian Grand Prix.